Greetings, friends and future friends. Welcome to Studio One. I want to show you a new addition, the Korg Pa5x. It's a great keyboard, and I want to thank all my friends there in Alamo Music in Texas, especially Gary, for getting me this keyboard. It's a very hard keyboard to find, and we got one. This video, I'm just going to show you 3 things that I really love about this keyboard, and I'm also going to do a couple of tutorials, because this thing is really interesting when you dive into it. The first thing I like about this keyboard is the build. It's solid. When you push the buttons, it's a solid feel. Even the keyboard itself, the key bed, it's similar to my knotless down below. The second thing I love about this keyboard is that it is a professional keyboard and has several outs. This is handy when you're producing music and you want to do individual tracking. I like to process my drums separate from everything else. And with this keyboard, you can do that. To really get that great separation, you want to separate the drums from the other accompaniments. And in producing music, the great way to do that is have a keyboard like the 5X, which you can take and run separate channels out. Now, how you do that with this, you can't see it, but we'll go over to here and hit Settings, which will bring us up to the Settings menu. Then touch Audio Video, and it goes MP3 player, audio in, keyboard, player 1, player 2, and drum metronome. Now, what you can do is I've selected as drum families. So I put all the drum families in there. So the way this keyboard is set up now, all my accompaniments are coming out of left and right channel, and the drums are coming out of channel 1 and 2, which I process them differently. And what's really cool about that is I can track that. So now if I'm tracking and I want to lay down something, I can actually have all the accompaniments recording on one channel and the drums recording on a separate channel by itself. And that'll make it easier to produce. What's really killer is the 5X takes it to another level. And that's this right here. Because now, if I want to, although everything's processed, my electric drum set I have in the studio, Roland drum set, I actually have a snare channel, a kick channel, and different channels for the toms and the cymbals. The Korg 5X allows you to do that. I have everything going out on 1 and 2 because generically I'm processing that all at one time. But if I wanted to, I could actually send the kick drum out to channel 3 and take the snare and put it out to channel 4 and actually process the snare and actually every individual piece of that drum set, even the special effects. For this keyboard as an arranger, I'm just going to keep it at 1 and 2 because that's the way I'm processing everything. And the arranger here, the way I process my drums, it sounds pretty good. Also with this, you have a very intuitive mixing, editing type situation for the drums, where you can tune the drums and everything. And there's a lot of tutorials out on that, and it's great. But this is a big, major thing. Because for me to produce music for video games or anything I need to do, I like to have that drum separation. And if I'm going to work it into a DAW system that I might have to edit something to make it fit in timing, I've already got the drum tracks separated. The third thing I really love about this keyboard is the interface. The newly worked interface has everything going on for it. So if you go down to anything, you can go to your keys, controllers, the different controllers on the sides, the mixer, go to the mixer, scale tuning, chords. This is so cool. This is called their chord pattern, and you can actually go in there and find a chord pattern that will work with your song, or you can create your own by hitting the record button. And it lists this all out. And what's really cool is if you're tracking something and you just recorded something, you can hit this and it brings it up to a bigger screen so you can see these chord changes, which is really cool. The big thing about this that I love about this chord recording is if we go back and we hit this button here and we actually record a sequence, let's just say we did, and it comes up, what ends up happening is, we'll get this chord structure, what ends up happening is you can save that chord structure, whatever chord pattern you recorded, you can save that and put that in the library. So when we go here, you can see users already have only had this keyboard for a few weeks, and I've got one chord pattern already in there. And that chord pattern will come up if I clicked on it. If I clicked on it, go back to escape, and there's the chord pattern. Where this is fantastic is now you can control one style and make it fit several songs, such that is if you're putting something in a soundtrack of a documentary and you want this to be this way, but this to be that way in a different chord structure or a different feeling of the song, you're not going to lose the basic rhythm of the style, which is so great because now I don't have to. In the older PA series, we would have to take this style and save the sequence to that style and then create another style. So what would end up happening in production, I would have to click to this style, click to that style. Where here, we can load up the same style, have it mixed the way we like it in different variations, and assign the chord pattern to it, which then means I can, and even here's my chord pattern I recorded, but I can go back and say, okay, let's use a factory chord progression. And I can go like that. When I bring this up, now this is a chord progression that's already in there for the factory, but it could be your chord pattern. This is leaps and bounds ahead of everything I've ever seen. And that's really a great function. Another view of this interface, which I think is great, is the mixer. You can go into this mixer, the style, the pads. It's so intuitive on how you can control things. And what is really killer is if we go out of this and we go into, let's edit this style, and we go into the main, what we're looking at here, and we'll go into the menu. Now we're in style edit. We've actually hit the record button and we're in style edit. Hit mixer. This is incredible because now you're going to actually edit the style. This interface is so great because now not only can I mix the mix, which again is changeable by these the controllers on the left, but I can also EQ them. I can run EQs. There's an EQ system. It's also given me insert effects, master effects send, and bending, which bending is very important. I'll show you. I'm going to do a tutorial on that. And then the finalizer, which is actually giving you that finalizer at the very end of everything to make it really sound killer. And if you look at this interface, it's incredible. It's, rivals a very, very expensive mixing console. And as we all know, a lot of the mixing consoles have gone digital. And it's very easily, you can either touch things and move them up and down, or what I like to do is touch them and then go over to the wheel and move it up and down so I can get precise movement. But everything is very color-coded, very easy to see, and it's almost amazing how much stuff that this thing is giving you. Again, this is in the, you're going to go into, again, here's the style, and then you're going to hit the button on the left called Record Edit, take you into Style Edit, hit Style Edit, and hit the menu. And now you have track. You can set up the processing of the tracks, everything that's in that thing. But when you go to Mixer and Effects, back to the main mixer, telling you all, and even the pictures are so clear. You can tell the difference between, I can imagine using this keyboard, you're going to know that, hey, the rock kit is the purple kit. And the way the J bass, that's a picture of a J bass. It's going to be very much something that can, when you're in that creative bubble, you're going to stay in it because you're not going to have to think about the logistics of everything. It's so well laid out. The Korg Pa5x. It's a great keyboard.